Hey, Nebraska, do you need a tissue for your issues? Hey, Nebraska, save the drama for your mama. What happened, Nebraska? Did voting for Trump ruin your economy? Oh, that's weird. That's so weird. It's kind of like we told you so, right? Oh, I love this.
Nebraskans are pissed. Bigly, Askins, the Askins are pissed.
It's kind of like, when Trump was telling everybody he was going to come after the undocumented people in this country that were working hard and deport them, that they would kind of move to a state they felt safe in. And apparently, Nebraska wasn't one of them. They packed up their stuff and they headed on out to a state that would welcome them with open arms. So now you're going bankrupt. Boo-hoo. Oh, and I can't wait for the hated comments. I can't wait for it. You voted for this. You voted for this. And now you're getting it. So why are you mad at us? We didn't vote for this. Nope. We voted completely against this. You voted for this. I better not get one BS comment. Not one. Not one. Oh, how mean you are. The stink. You're so mean. Shut up. Shut up. I'm not mean. I'm just giving you what you wanted. You wanted this. You voted for it. You made your bed. Now lay in it. Have a day.
Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. I'm your host Kisaka. In today's video, we are looking into a story that's got Nebraska buzzing, and not in a good way. Picture this: wide open fields of corn and soybeans stretching to the horizon, the smell of fresh earth after a rain, and hardworking families who have tilled the same soil for generations. That's the postcard version of Nebraska farming. But right now, in late 2025, that postcard's got some tears in it. White farmers across the state, the ones who own most of those massive operations, are speaking out, loud and frustrated. They are saying they can't find workers anymore. Crops are rotting in the field, kettles are going unattended, and some are even whispering about selling off land that's been in their families for over a century. And the twist? The workers they are missing, mostly black and brown folks from Africa, Latin America, and beyond, immigrants who powered these farms for years. These farmers voted for policies that promised to secure the border and put America first. But now they are paying the price because those same policies yank the rug out from under their labor force. It's like ordering a steak and getting a salad. You might have thought you knew what you were getting, but surprise! In this video, we're gonna unpack it all. What's really happening on the ground in Nebraska? Why did the farmers rely so heavily on immigrant labor in the first place? A quick history lesson on farming and folks of color, because you can't tell this story without the roots. We'll look at the numbers, hear reactions from Americans, and explore why this feels like a big I told you so moment. Stick around. First, let's look at these reactions from Americans before I come back with more explanations.
Nebraskans, no one wants to hear Farmer John with his butt crack showing, married to a Karen, complaining about losing your little farm when you voted for me. They don't feel sorry for you, and I don't need your votes anymore, so I don't care. Bigly, Nebraskans, what did you think was going to happen? If all your workers were Mexicans and we got rid of all the Mexicans, who's going to be your workers? Guess what? You can take a page from the book of the Native Americans, followed by the African Americans, Chinese Americans, Indian Americans. Listen, what we're going to do is crash the economy so all the rich people can buy up everything for super dirt cheap, including your land, Nebraska farmer dude. I don't know. And once we buy it for dirt cheap, we will hire you to work on said land. Hello? This is a tale as old as time. We've done it so many times before. And the fact that you thought you were exempt is absolutely hilarious. Bigly, it's funny because you guys are really effing around and finding out. Decided to put a little pause on the tariff situation. Canada had a problem and we came in and helped them solve it. They had a problem that there were tariffs that they could not pay. And I said, I will be your savior. I will take the tariffs away. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Nebraska, I've actually sold Nebraska to Vladimir Putin. And we know I like to say Putin. That's my friend. In exchange for 2 new mail order brides that should be here by Thursday. One of them's gonna come with me into my forever cryo chamber where I will live in infamy and be the president of the United States for the rest of existence and time. Bigly! We're doing very well with Russia. Russia's really enjoying us, and we're really enjoying Russia, and they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine right now. And I don't like the Ukraine guy because that guy is tan and he's kind of sexy. I'm not gonna lie, and I don't like that about him. Vladimir Putin is much more pale. He makes me look shiny and orange. And that's the kind of leadership that I really look up to. Bigly. Bigly, I do. We're having a good time. Everyone's having a good time this pregnancy, and you guys keep trying to come and interfere with your world news and your disasters. We like a good disaster. It's good for the millionaires and billionaires because we can buy up everything dirt cheap, including labor. Including you. We need a workforce. Too many of you farmers want to own your own land with government subsidies. Not anymore. Not anymore. Not anymore. You got what you voted for. Bigly, you got what you voted for.
So I was on YouTube and I came across this video claiming that white farmers are outraged that black people do not want to work on their farms. And I thought it was fake because I was like, this has to be like clickbait or whatever. So I searched and I came across Facebook, and y'all, the comments were wild. I still wasn't sure if it was real. So I tried to go to the staffing agency's website, and y'all, apparently so many people went to their website that the website crashed. So I figured, okay, maybe this is actually real. So they're basically offering $11 an hour to pick blueberries, 9 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, from May to July in Louisiana heat. Now, I never heard of Laranger, so I decided to look it up real quick. So here's some info. And just so you know, my source is this website called places.us.com. So anyway, livability is a C-. Population is less than 6,000. Demographics is almost 91% white, followed by black, then Hispanic, then Indian, then Asian, and pretty much 0 Hawaiian. I saw that they voted Republican in 2020, but it probably doesn't take a genius to guess how they voted in 2024. So that's just to give you a little info about the town. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So $11 an hour is what they're offering. Full-time, 7 days a week, 9 to 10 hours a day. Now, according to salary.com, Louisiana's minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. So this is a bump. But let's be real. Now, for some people, they might say, oh, it's a job. Go work it. It's a job. But it's not a job, you know. It's more like a sentence. And then when you look at who they expect to take these jobs, you don't have to guess. It's a page straight out of history. Black folks, migrant workers, you know, the ones who are currently facing deportation right now. Vulnerable communities getting used for back-breaking labor for pennies. But people are saying this is what they voted for. So what do you think? Is it FAO season or what?
So this morning I ended up on Nebraska Talk, and it was a bunch of people crying, why does anybody care about Nebraska? When we voted for Kamala Harris, when I cast my vote for Harris, that was me saying, I care about you and I want you to survive and thrive. Okay, you knew better than anybody else that your state thrives and survives off of migrants' backs. Okay, and instead of them waiting for ICE to come, they decided to peace out before they could come and get them. I don't know what to tell you guys anymore. This is what you voted for. Whether you like it or not, whether you want to believe it or not, this is exactly what you voted for. And now you're feeling it. What do you want us to do? You want a government handout? That's socialism. You voted against that. No. Sadly, the reality is that you'll probably have to sell a lot of your farms for pennies on the dollar to large corporations and manufacturers. But don't worry, they'll probably let you work there for minimum wage.
So I'm a black farmer, and a lot of people are wondering, why are black farmers not panicking like a lot of white farmers? Well, let me explain to you the reasons why. It's because white farmers have been handed everything to them, a lot of them. Not saying all of them, but a good bit of them. And by that I mean this. MLK even pointed out. He says, farmers in the West and the Midwest who were white, they were given land, they were given money, they were given training, they were given a lot. Whereas the black farmers weren't given anything, and the largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history is Pickford v. Glickman. where you had a class action lawsuit, bunch of black farmers all joined the lawsuit, and they won a huge settlement because the USDA was shown to be racist for decades. So because black farmers haven't been given anything, we've been learning to do without, unlike your white farmers. So when things are taken away from you, all your subsidies, all your tax breaks, guess what? You panic. Whereas we've always been going through this shit. So there's problems in privilege.
So y'all, AM, PM staffing service posted this on Facebook because they're looking for farm pickers. And these are the terms right here. The comments, I'm going to show y'all some of the comments. The comments, Lord have mercy.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Apparently our entire state is going to go bankrupt in 2 quarters. Me and my husband owned a cattle ranch here, and I can confirm that all of the cattle ranchers here overwhelmingly voted for Trump. We support him. We voted for him. Something like 70% of our entire workforce is undocumented immigrants, and they straight up are not showing up for work anymore. They have all either fled the country, fled the state. They don't want to get raided while at work, so they have just moved on to work somewhere else. And straight up, we are going to go bankrupt now. We are going to go bankrupt. And yeah, we voted. We knew that the immigrants would get deported, and he was coming after immigrants. Yet we still voted for it. Overwhelmingly voted for our own demise. I was talking to my husband last night, and I have to admit that it seems a bit foolish now when you think about it like that we voted for something that is now putting us directly out of business.
So apparently Nebraska is going out of business soon, within the next 1 to 2 quarters. Why? Well, farmers to be exact, or farms. They can't seem to find anyone to work their fields. Nebraska, I wonder why that is. Could it be the racist rapist that you voted for that literally told you he was going to deport about 80% of your workforce, but you voted for him anyway because you wanted your bragging rights? That's right, you wanted to own those libs. Well, congratulations, Nebraska. You won your bragging rights, but now you lost your livelihood.
Hey, y'all. Did I read that article about the dairy farmers? The ones that voted for Trump are speaking out. Because now they're sorry they voted for Trump. They didn't think it was going to affect them. They're all crying. Who's going to milk the cows? Who's going to milk your cows? And you pulled the lever for Trump? Well, roll up your sleeve. See, it's funny how they're talking about illegal immigrants. Y'all brought them over here. Y'all paid to bring them here, so they can do your work, so they can work on your farms. Y'all white folks paid to bring them here so they can work on your farms. And then you turned around and voted for Trump. Now you're sorry? Because you're looking around on your farm and they're all gone? And you want people to feel sorry for you? But you better hurry up and get up and roll up your goddamn sleeve and go milk your cows. One at a time, baby. Go milk them goddamn cows. Wake your family up. Get your husbands up, your children up, get your relatives up. Have them come over there and help you milk your goddamn cows. Because your ass should have thought about it before you went into that booth, pulled that lever with your full chest, and voted for Trump. Now, get up. Get up. Rise and shine, y'all. Go out there and milk your goddamn cows yourselves.
I wanted to drop by today to talk about the Nebraska farmers situation again. And I know a lot of us, with all of the videos we had been seeing around, or at least I had been seeing around, a lot of people were saying, you know, Nebraska didn't care about Nebraska, and why are we supposed to care about Nebraska, and Nebraska didn't care about Nebraska? How could Nebraska vote against their best interests by voting for mass deportation of their workforce? And I was saying, why would you purposely go to get rid of your workforce and not have a backup plan for the people that you're getting rid of, especially if your business is relying on that workforce? Your hatred can't be that blinding and that overwhelming that you can't think about your bottom line especially when it comes to your businesses. Some of these farms have been in those people's families for over 300 years. You can't tell me you did not think about who is going to come in and replace these vital workers for your survival. One thing I do keep thinking back on is Trump kept saying during this campaign that the illegals were here stealing the blacks' jobs. He just kept harping on the black jobs, and everybody was like, what the hell is a black job? Well, this is just my perspective, or it's just my thought. I'm thinking that the Virginians and all the rest of the people who were depending on illegal immigrants for their labor, they kept hearing Trump saying that the black people jobs were being taken. I'm thinking in their minds, they were hearing Trump saying the black people are going to come back to those jobs. In my mind, I'm thinking they were hearing Trump says the black people are going to replace all those immigrants out in the fields and on the farms and all of that. I'm thinking that's what they were hearing. That's why they weren't messed up about voting to get rid of their illegal immigrants. They were thinking that the black people were going to step up and take those jobs back, because Trump kept saying these illegal immigrants are stealing the blacks' jobs. And therefore, in their mind, they heard we were getting our 1,800 slaves back. They had to have thought that their backup plan, Trump was going to miraculously, somehow, magically put all the black people back out in those fields, on those farms, and they were going to continue to get their work done. Now, that's just my thinking, because you cannot tell me that you as a business owner would get rid of your workforce and not have a backup plan. You are not going to knowingly and willingly walk into a bankruptcy, walk into losing your business, walk into losing your farms that have been in your family for 300 years unless you thought there was a backup plan. And the backup plan was supposed to be the blacks. That's why y'all ran out there and voted against your best interest, because when you heard Donald Trump said they were stealing the blacks' jobs, y'all in your twisted mind thought that the blacks were going to magically appear back in those positions. The blacks were just going to be coming from everywhere to take on those positions. You had to have thought that, because y'all not going to tell me that in your minds you were okay with losing your livelihoods, that you didn't have a backup plan to come in after the immigrants would be deported. You can't convince me that people who own those farms and worked on those farms, you cannot tell me that you looked out there and saw your workforce and you know what your workforce is made up of, and you purposely went out there and said, yeah, get rid of all of them with no backup plan. You know what it takes to run your farms. You know how many people it takes to run your farms. There is no way you got rid of all of those people and did not expect to have somebody to come in and pick up the slack. Y'all thought y'all were getting slaves back. You had to have thought that. You had to have thought black people were going to be the ones replacing the immigrants and you would not miss a beat. But when those immigrants fled and those fields became empty and those farms became deserted, then y'all want to run around crying, does anybody care about Nebraska? Does anybody care about Nebraska? No. Let's go back. What was your thought process as to when the immigrants go, when they deport them? What was your thought process on who was going to come in and pick up that slack? Because 60% of y'all went out there and voted for Trump. So what was that 60% thinking? What was your plan B for when the immigrants are gone? Who was going to come in, step in, and pick up that workload and get your bottom and keep your bottom line moving? What was that thought process? Who were the replacements for the illegal immigrants that you guys went and voted against? Who were the replacements? You guys thought it was going to be black people. Y'all thought Donald Trump was going to magically make black people appear in y'all farms and on y'all fields to get their work done. Why? I have no idea. Other than he kept saying that they were taking the black jobs. Y'all thought that just because he said that, black people were going to be running down there to them fields? It's absolutely bizarre. You can't convince me y'all put everything, your whole life, y'all whole livelihood, generations of farms being in y'all family. You can't tell me you put that up at risk and did not have a backup plan. You can't tell me y'all purposely destroyed y'all lives and y'all farms without having a backup plan to replace the illegals. It's just not making sense. But racism never has made sense. Guys, these are some really eye-opening times we're dealing with. And another thing I want to touch on before I leave today. President Musk is really working hard to get up under the black people's skin. He's trying to find a button to push to make us hit them streets. Now he wants the government to stop funding, to stop the lease for the Obama library. And he also wants the United States government to sell our National Black Museum, one of our National Black Museums. I think it was the Montgomery Boys bus. Something to do with that. I think that's what it was. So do you see what they're doing? When the threat to pardon Derek Chauvin did nothing, now they're going for other intricacies that they know black people hold near and dear, which is telling us they are going to keep nitpicking until they can think they can get us out there. No matter what they do, do not give them what they're looking for. I don't care what they do at this point, but it needs to be seen the extremes they're going to go to. That needs to be seen.
Nebraska isn't just flyover country. It's the engine room for America's breadbasket. This state pumps out more than 10% of the nation's corn and soybeans, and it's a powerhouse in beef and pork. In 2024, Nebraska's agricultural industry was worth over $30 billion. That's bigger than the GDP of some small countries. But here's the kicker. Farms here are huge. The average Nebraska farm spans 450 acres. That's like 350 football fields end to end. And running them, it's back-breaking. We are talking down to dusk, days in scorching summers or freezing winters, detasseling corn by hand, herding cattle through mud, or sorting hogs in tight pens. Now zooming in 2025. Since January, when the new administration ramped up immigration enforcement, things have gone sideways. ICE, that is Immigration and Customs Enforcement, has been on a tear. Raids hit meat packing plants and farms hard. Take the Glen Valley Foods bust in Omaha just back in June. 74 workers detained in one swoop. Many were undocumented or on shaky visas. Overnight, 80% of some workforces vanished. Farmers watched their crews, guys who had been with them for seasons, pack up and head south or back home. One rancher near Lexington told a local reporter, "I woke up one morning and poof, half my hands were gone. Who's gonna milk these cows at 4 a.m.? And it's not just stories. The Nebraska Department of Labor reports job openings in agriculture outnumber available workers 100 to 39. That's a gap wider than the Platte River in flood season. Crops like corn for seeds companies, they are detasseling with half crews, meaning lower yields and lost cash. Pork producers, they are culling herds because there's no one to feed them. But wait, aren't these the same folks who cheered for build the wall and deport them all? Yep. In the 2024 election, Nebraska went red by 20 points. Rural counties where 90% of farm seats were Trump strongholds. They wanted tough borders, less illegals taking jobs. Irony alert, now they are begging for guest workers. This is echoing across social media like wildfire. Imagine you are a farmer in Hall County. You have got 1,000 acres of soybeans ready to harvest. Last year, your crew of 20, mostly from Somalia and Mexico, got it done in 2 weeks. This year, you have advertised on Craigslist, posted at the dinner, even offered $15 US an hour above minimum. Locals show up, take one look at the blisters and bags, and bail after a shift. They quit after a few hours, the farmer says in a viral clip. Sounds familiar? It's not laziness, it's reality. Farm work is tough, and Americans, white, black, whatever, have options like factories or retail that don't have you smelling like manure. By November 2025, the fallout's hitting hard. Tyson Food just announced closing their Lexington plant, axing 3,200 jobs, many tied to the immigrant crunch. That's a town of 11,000 losing a quarter of its workforce. Property taxes are spiking to cover shortfalls, and small farms are folding. Governor Palin's tax force is scrambling, but solutions? Slim pickings. Okay, let's rewind the clock. Let's talk roots, deep ones, tangled with America's original sins. Farming in the US wasn't built on an apple pie and sunshine. It was sweat, chains, and broken promises. Enslaved Africans didn't just pick cotton in the South. Their knowledge of rice, indigo, and animal husbandry fed empires. Was civil war, the 40 acres and mule promise, mostly smoke, freed folks sharecropped on land they once worked for free, trapped in debt peonage. By 1910, black farmers owned 14% of US farmland, nearly 1 million strong. But here's the Nebraska twist. Ever hear of DeWitt? In the early 1900s, Cherry County in Sandhills became a haven for black homesteaders. Under the Kincaid Act, folks like Leroy Gibbs claimed 640-acre plots. They came from South, Omaha, even Canada, escaping Jim Crow for wide skies and hope. DeWitt had a post office school, church, a thriving black community of 75 families by 1910. They raised cattle, grew corn, built lives. One settler, Charles Meehan, an Irish guy married to a black woman, Esther, thumbed his nose at anti-miscegenation laws right there in the open. Badass. But droughts hit in the 1920s. Prices tanked, and white banks foreclosed. DeWitt faded, a ghost town by 1930. Sounds familiar? It's the story of black land loss. Nationwide. From 14% in 1910 to under 2% today. Why? Enter the USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture. New Deal loans mostly went to white farmers. County committees, all white, all biased. Black apps for credit, denied, delayed, destroyed. By the 1990s, a class action suit, Pigford versus Glickman. It exposed it. Thousands of black farmers lost land to discrimination. Fast forward to Nebraska today. Black farmers, rare as hen's teeth, less than 1% of producers. Why? Legacy of that loss, plus urban pool during the Great Migration. As one Reddit thread put it, black folks headed to cities, not back to the interior like Nebraska. Books like Farming While Black by Leah Pennyman highlight the fight back Afrocentric farms in New York, Earthseed in Cali, but in Nebraska, it's white-owned mega farms leaning on immigrant labor. And those immigrants, often black, think Somali refugees in meatpacking or seasonal hands from Ethiopia and Sudan via H-2A visas. The H-2A program, born in 1986, lets farmers hire temps when locals won't. In Nebraska, H-2A jobs jumped 50% since 2020, over 5,000 visas last year. These workers, many from Africa, endure long hours for $14 to $16 bucks. Housing in bunkhouses, no path to citizenship. Farmers love it. Reliable, cheap, no unions, but when deportation spike, chaos. This history isn't ancient. It's why today's crisis stings. White farmers built empires on land denied to others, now scrambling without hands that made it run. Deep, right? Now let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth or the tractor's exhaust pipe. I scored X, that's Twitter for you old folks, or old school, if I may call you. Reddit and local news for the raw text. First, the farmers. Take this clip from a June 2025 rally near Grand Island. A white rancher in John Deere cap, mic in hand. This is what he says. We voted for America first, but who's gonna feed America now? My crew was from Somalia. Good folks, worked harder than anyone. Now they're scared to show up, and I've got calves starving. This was a viral video that got around 800,000 views. Another from August, a corn farmer near Kani, tears in his eyes. This is what he says. He says, this land has been ours since 1880. One bad season and it's gone, all because Washington forgot about us little guys. X is lit with regret. One post goes like this: MAGA, here in NE. We thought deportations meant criminals. Turns out it meant our best hands. Far for big time. Another goes like this: tried hiring locals. They last half a day. Immigrants, they do 12 hours smiling, but not all sympathy. Replies, roast them. These are some of the replies. You wanted slaves gone? Now enjoy the freedom to fail. On the flip side, the workers, Somali communities in Omaha and Lincoln are reeling. One refugee advocate says this: these men left war for this? Raids at dawn, families split, it's trauma all over again. Many headed back to Africa or hid in cities, but the fear lingers. And black Americans not lining up. As a Reddit user quipped, why swap city jobs for field blisters? Pass. Tyson closure, it's gutting immigrant-heavy towns. Folks who voted blue anyway. Then, there's the irony parade. Nebraska Farm Bureau, Jordan Dukes. We need balanced reform. Agriculture can't survive without foreign hands. Same group lobbied for stricter borders last year. Reddit savage. Sorry farmers, America's fresh out of sympathy. You gurgled for this. One extract goes like this: after a raid, locals queued for meat plant jobs, but turnovers 50%. Proud Nebraskans lined up. Boosts one post. Replies and quit by lunch. It's a circus. Farmers pleading for H2A tweaks to hire year-round, despite the program's seasonal limits. Costs $3,000 per worker in fees alone. Small ops can't swing it. Enter automation. Drones for detasseling, robots for milking, cool technology, but pricey $500,000 startup, and it kills jobs. Laugh or cry? Both. But this backlash shows cracks in the America First armor. Let's crunch numbers, because this is not just Nebraska's headache. It's yours at the checkout. Agriculture is 5% of US GDP, but labor's 20% of farm cost. Shortages mean 10 to 15% yield drops. That is $3 billion to $5 billion lost statewide. Corn prices up by 8% since summer. Beef heading to $5 a pound. Policy-wise, H2S is the lifeline, but Trump's mass deportation push 3K a day goal clogged it. Visas take 60 days. Raids take hours. Farmers want reforms. Year-round H2A. Electronic apps. Congress gridlocked. Red states like Nebraska beg for guest worker fixes, but hardliners say no. This echoes 2016 to 2020. Tariffs hurt soy exports. Bailout propped farms. Now deportations echo that. $2 billion in discrimination payouts. Last year couldn't fix the root. Black farmers got scraps. White ones cry foul over DEI cuts. USDA ditching race best aid. We have fixed it, they say. Critics, this is what they say less food for all. On the other side, your wallet, expect $200 more yearly on groceries if this drags. Imports from Canada up by 20%. Funny, not funny. Farmers who voted against handouts now want subsidies. As one ex-user says, socialism For me, not for thee. Phew. Policies a mess, but solutions exist, which brings us to hope. So how do we till this soil back to health? First, the H2A should be reformed. Make it faster, fairer, with worker protections. No more $500 recruitment fees schemed by shady agencies. Nebraska's Alliance for Thriving Communities, 70 groups strong, pushes for legal paths that fill jobs without exploitation. Second, invest in locals. Training programs, better wages like $18 per hour minimum for agriculture. School to farm pipelines. Teens used to detassel corn. Now it's H2A crews. Bring them back with AC buses and playlists. Third, honor history. Boost black and minority farmers. Groups like the Kansas Black Farmers Association lost $8 million in grants to DEI rollback. Reverse that. Imagine DWITI 2.0, community land trust for underserved growers. Technology 2, AI scouts for pests. Auto harvesters, but pair it with people. Machines can't replace heart. Long term, balanced immigration. And paths for long timers. Secure borders without raids that gut economies. As N epoch's old junk says, invite immigrants. They are the idea we need. Farmers, you need to vote with wallets, not fears. Workers, union up, demand fair shares. All the Americans, you need to support the locals and pressure the polls. This crisis, it's a wake-up call. Nebraska pain is a mirror of America. America can rise together or rot apart. This has been the video for today. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do me the favor of subscribing to this channel, liking this video, leave your comment, and until next time, Jah blessing.